Allah is Al-Khaliq, the creator. And the meaning of it is that Allah is the one who brings into existence the creations. We do not create, we acquire deeds, but Allah creates them. We as bodies are created by Allah. So our deeds, for greater reason, are created by Allah as well. And this is what the scholars said, like Imam Abu Hanifa radiallahu anhu, that the deeds and the bodies of the slaves are created by Allah Azza wa Jal. If the body is created by Allah, then for a greater reason, the deeds are created by Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah said in the Quran, وَاللَّهُ خَلَقَكُمْ وَمَا تَعْمَلُونَ, meaning Allah created you and created your deeds as well. The non-believers at the time of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam used to make the idols, used to engrave them by their own hands, then they worship them. He said to them, do you worship what you engrave by your own hands? And Allah is the one who created you and created your deeds? Meaning you are creations of Allah and these are creations of Allah. So how dare you worship something that you engrave by your own hands? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only creator in this meaning, which is to bring things from the state of non-existence into the state of existence. And that word create in this meaning is not used except when in reference to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, the word create in English, as the word khalaqa in Arabic, could be used in other than this meaning. In other than this meaning. For instance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَتَخْلُقُونَ إِفْكًا, you fabricate lies. So it's mentioned here, وَتَخْلُقُونَ. It doesn't mean you create as in this meaning, bringing into, like from the state of non-existence into the state of existence, no. So the word khalaqa could come in different meanings, as the word create in English could be used in different meanings, depending on the context. So if you are working on the computer, for instance, they ask you to create a file, meaning make. So here create means make. You can use it in that context. But in the context of bringing from the state of non-existence into the state of existence, that can only be used when in reference to Allah Azza wa Jal. That's why it is blasphemous to say, for instance, I want you to create this for me as Allah created you. Because when one says, I want you to create this for me as Allah created you, brought you from the state of non-existence into the state of existence. So here he is attributing that word create in this meaning, which is specific to Allah Azza wa Jal, to other than Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And this is classified as associating partners with Allah. Same case is with the Mu'tazila. The Mu'tazila in the past, a deviant group, used to say that the slave creates his own actions. They say not Allah creates everything. They say Allah creates our involuntary acts, but our voluntary acts, we create them. And look at yourself. What acts do you do more? The voluntary acts or the involuntary acts? Involuntary acts like what? See, when for instance you get scared of something and you make a movement, involuntary movement, when you are shivering, when you are cold, this is involuntary act. What are the voluntary acts? When you talk, when you walk, when you look here and there, when you make all these movements. So which acts you do more, the voluntary acts or the involuntary acts? The voluntary acts. So those Mu'tazila who say that Allah creates only your involuntary acts and you as a slave create your voluntary acts, they claim that the slave creates more than what Allah creates. This is associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All your deeds are created by Allah Azza wa Jal. But what's the difference between voluntary and involuntary acts? That the involuntary acts, you are not accountable for them. But the voluntary acts, you are accountable for them. That's why, let us say you were walking, you slip, and you fall on someone and you kill him. You are not sinful. This happened involuntarily, unintentionally. But if you kill someone intentionally, you are liable for it, accountable for it. That's the difference between voluntary and involuntary acts. The voluntary acts fall under the category of accountability. You are accountable for them. The involuntary acts, you are not accountable for them. But when you are talking about creating the acts, they are all created by Allah. We acquire the act, but we don't create it. We acquire it, but we don't create it. And we give that example that the one who creates something must be knowledgeable about this creation. If one creates something, must be knowledgeable about what he creates. Allah said in the Quran, أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ. Isn't Allah knowledgeable about what He creates? Of course Allah is. Allah is knowledgeable about what He creates. Now I'll give you one example. Now you have been sitting here in the lesson for a while. Can you tell me how many breaths you have done since you sat on the chair? You don't know. When you walk into this room, you make some steps from there to here. Can you tell me how many steps did you make? You don't know. What's the length of each stride you made? You don't know. So when you walk, you make strides, but you don't know how long each one is. 30 centimeters, 29.2 mil. You don't know. And these are voluntary acts that you do, but you don't know everything about them. So how can you be the creator of these acts and you don't know these details about them? You cannot be the creator of them. But Allah knows about you every single detail because Allah is your creator. So that's the meaning of Al-Khaliq, the one who brings from the state of non-existence into the state of existence.